back and a little crooked. All right, we're fixed. Benja Welldone coming at you live on this beautiful corona-free day. Today is Saturday, November the 7th at 9:27 in the morning. How are you doing? So, I start my weekends just like I start my weekdays, around 4 in the morning every day. Why? Because I'm ambitious towards the things that I'm passionate about, right? Comedy, jiu-jitsu, and the more daylight hours that I have before I go to work, before I'm working, before I go to jiu-jitsu, before a comedy show, etc., the more hours that I have just equals more hours of production. And I look at everything as far as production because that's who I am. Very self-motivated and always drive myself and push myself to get more done. So by starting my mornings earlier, I get more accomplished. Small concept, and I said this before, but I'll say it again. If you set your alarm for an hour earlier, or let's just say even 2 hours, hypothetically, all right? But whatever, okay? Per week. In the work week, okay, before you go to work or whatever, what would you do with 5 extra hours of production? What would you do if you set it for 2 hours earlier, okay? Or even if it was 1 hour earlier during the work week and 2 hours earlier on the weekend. That's roughly 10 hours. So what would you do with 10 hours extra of production? If you have something that you're doing, you're motivated, you're working on in life, you take those 10 hours, and those are 10 precious hours that also would be spread across the course of a week that would add to your total production of whatever you're working on. And just by conceptual idea, you'll even have rest periods in between that through the night, through the days themselves, right? So I'm firing in all cylinders today. I'm having a great, excellent day. I hope you are too. But yeah, it's just one of the best things. So this morning already, like, I did my jiu-jitsu. I'm working on comedy, and I know when something is funny, and like not like I'm thinking it's funny, because it's like there's like a certain feeling that you get where it kind of hits you. And if you're laughing at your own idea, your own concept or something like that, I'm not saying 100%, but 99.99% of the time, I don't mean every sentence, every word. It could be that, but it doesn't have to be that. You know that what you're thinking about, or what the line is, or the pausing, or whatever it is, that it's right. It feels right. Because if you're doing anything long enough, especially when it has to do with a comedy, or if you're an actor or something like that, where you're coming up with a dialogue for a scene, it may not be humor, which is the emotion that you're working on, or something like that, maybe for comedy. But maybe it's like that point of anger if it's for acting, or whatever the case is. There's like an emotional connection. And there's something that's powerful when you see the words. It's like you feel them. I feel them. And when I feel it and I literally start laughing out loud at one sentence, I know that hits. Now, the ones that are less than impactful, they could be even funnier, but I don't really feel it. But I worked on so much new stuff today that literally is like hitting me and impacting me and whatnot, to where I know it works. I'm excited to get out and use it, which brings me back to the whole Corona issue, which is it's kind of hard to like perform right now and work on material. So I try as best as possible to vet out my material through open forum spaces, parking lots, checkout lines, everywhere I go. And then sometimes people look at me like, this guy is not funny at all. But as I'm working on stuff, that's the weird thing about comedy. You look at an hour stand-up special, and you say, wow, that guy's hilarious. But guess what? 100%, it didn't end up like that. That took a year or maybe more of work of sucking and doing poorly and trying out things between the timing and the phrasing and the taglines, the rhythm, the beat, everything. It could be multiple years, okay, until you're finally hearing the finished product. So if you hear a comedian that's not funny, if it's his final product, then you can make a fair judgment, fair assessment. But intelligently and whatnot, it's kind of a hard concept to say that someone's not funny. That guy was driving aggressive. I had to give him that someone's not funny based off material that's brand new. Me, my opinion, I always wanted to do this, but honestly, it does not look like realistically I'm ever going to get the opportunity to go to the world famous Comedy Store in Los Angeles, California, and watch some of the greats that I aspire to be like, all on one comedy show in a showcase where I'm watching them work on material and suck. What I'm saying is, to me, it's more motivational seeing the beginning processes of somebody and then seeing once it's finally finished. Kind of like if you visited an ice sculpture guy who's doing like a big old ice sculpture, and if it was a 10-hour process, about 90 minutes into it, it looked like it'll have some edges cut off and it kind of has a shape to something, but it's not even fine-tuned enough to what you can really even see what kind of shape it is or what it'll turn into, and then visit it once it's done, and you'd be like, wow, that's a beautiful sculpture of beautiful boat ship with its sails out and open, like it's out to sea, and it's so gorgeous and it's beautiful looking, right? Everyone always sees the last part. No one ever really sees the first part, except for the comics themselves. So I got a lot of good stuff done today. I'm trying to make as many errands, and on my to-do list is doing this, giving everybody updates. I know there's an election going on. I'm not even going to get into that. Michael Jordan, he did something. He's very famous one day, which is there was a political election going on, and he didn't support a political candidate, not because he was afraid to or any of this other craziness. It's because he was trying to be like apolitical. He was trying to be unbiased and whatnot, and just stick to what he's good at, what he's doing, which is exactly what I'm doing. He made a comment that I think it was for like a Democrat that a lot of people wanted him to endorse, and if he did, the Democrat might have won, and it was against a Republican. But long story short, his only comment to his endorsement was, even Republicans buy shoes. That is very, very powerful, impacting, if you just understand that concept. So by me alone, which I also did, not just before him, but it solidified my position on what I'm doing now, which is even Democrats like to laugh. Even Republicans like to laugh. You know what I mean? So either way, of course I want the best for everyone in the country, and myself in it. So with that being mentioned, what else is going on? Comedy, jiu-jitsu, early morning production. I know I'm killing it. Today. I feel like certain days, making a list. Making a list is one of my biggest ways of accomplishing everything. I have an actual app on my phone. I think it's called, I'm pretty sure it's like Tick something. It's not TikTok, but it has like a similar name to it, right? I know TikTok is a dancing app, but whatever. But yeah, I use it, and it's really, really great because I can literally schedule, plan everything, and it's sort of like a checklist to where I can get everything accomplished every day. But to me personally, having a list and watching it get knocked off every single day, it's not just gratifying. Oh, and it repopulates according to my schedule, or whether I want it like daily, weekly, kind of like an alarm, if that's a similar comparison. But anyway, but yeah, I love it, and it helps me stay ahead of the curve. The hardest thing I know for a fact, calling myself out, that's been most challenging as far as socially and whatnot, in addition to the open mic scene, is doing uploads. You know, there's all this algorithm and all this craziness having to do with getting your material out there, and if you don't have a certain right hashtags, whatever, you might just fall beside the wayside. And I hate to say it, but it really looks like talent isn't enough. So I actually have a paid social media company that I will be using shortly, but I was actually really going to use them once things start to really open up and I can start to be back in the full swing of things. Otherwise, they're pretty much just paying me for something that I can already do myself in a period when I don't really have much to promote. You know what I'm saying? Once things start really kicking off, I'm definitely going to get up with them. But right now, everything's sort of still slow-mo. You feel me? So anyway, with that being mentioned, I hope everybody has a beautiful rest of your day. Feel free to hit me up on any social media. I'd be glad to always talk to people that listen to this. I know I got listeners all around the world. So yeah, just keep on listening. Great things are on their way to come. But more than anything, this not just the nation, but the world has to come together through this pandemic. And it's very, very physically challenging to get booked and continue to climb up this ladder with minimum capacity shows, and not you're able to, but you aren't really supposed to do the things that you normally do and network after a show with the handshakes and the pictures and stuff like that, you know. So that's how you build up your network, which is what I'm working on doing. But even doing shows without getting those handshakes and being physical and being on the ground, it cuts out the biggest, most essential part of the network. So, you know, but that's another thing to work on. And I guess maybe I can wear gloves or something, or I'll figure it out. That's actually a good note, so I might even start doing that. But anyway, hope everybody has a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you for your minutes, your hours, your love, and I wish the best for absolutely everybody. Stay productive, stay motivated, keep grinding. I love you all. I'm Benja. Welldone. Check me out. Peace.